Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to What's Hot on the Open here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group Securities offered by MoneyBlock. This is where we're going to break it all down. Taking a look at the opening bell right now, we're seeing a tepid market. Now, we saw this in the overnight action in Asia. It continued with a flat market right now over in Europe. There seems to be some concerns about the fact that we're seeing some heating inflation, little uncertainty in Europe, and there's a lot of deal movement going on, but people are trying to figure out what this all means. Currently, right now, you have the Dow Jones down 27 at 20,355 on the futures. You have the Russell 2000 down 610, now trading almost on its worst levels of the session at 1386. You have the NASDAQ trading down 475 at 5254.25. And you have the S&P 500 just down 3 right off of their lows at 23.25. You have the U.S. dollar down 8.5 cents at 186.5 cents. You have the crude contract up 71 cents this morning. That's after the fact that we did have some OPEC numbers that came out. It looks like they're adhering to their production cuts that the OPEC and non-OPEC nations agreed to. But we'll watch this very closely. $54 on crude here in the U.S. on the CL contract is where the resistance point is, trading at 53.64 right now. So when you see the markets, it's a lot of basically flat to tepid to slightly down action. Now, we will have Fed Chairman Yellen speaking. She will have her semi-annual monetary policy report with the Committee on Banking, Housing and Urban Development. That's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern time, so it's right after we do the opening bell. We're going to be watching this very closely because we're going to see if there's any insights on whether or not the Fed could be moving as soon as their March meeting. Otherwise, we're going to look at the expectations right around June is more of a level. But again, with inflation on the move, there's also talk. We've started to hear some nations. We've already heard that the British might be moving their key interest rates up. As a matter of fact, we saw a headline this morning where Australia is thinking about moving their interest rates up. U.S. Treasuries, though, are what you're going to watch today in front of and post the Fed Chair's testimony. Right now, as I had noted, the dollar index is a little bit to the downside, down about 8-9 cents. The 10-year is unchanged going into her comments and testimony. On an earnings front, well, basically we saw this morning T-Mobile came out. That's ticker symbol TMUS. It's down about 90 cents. In spite of the fact that they had basically better than expected top and bottom line estimates. They beat. And I think it's just in sympathy with the fact that Verizon came out with their unlimited data plan, and Verizon VZ is trading flat. Now it's basically pressuring the peers in spite of the fact that they had, like T-Mobile's numbers were pretty positive. We're going to watch to see if this continues, how proactive and reactive these telecommunications stocks are going to be. And we'll watch that very closely. Taking a look at some of the economic data that came out this morning, it was the January producer prices increased by 0.6%. Now, that did come as a little bit of a surprise. There was an expectation of an increase of around 0.3%, and you're seeing core producer prices increasing 0.4%. And again, a little bit higher than expectations. The consensus was coming in right around 0.2%. So we're starting to see some numbers that are saying, hey, we got inflation, we got prices moving to the upside. We better make sure that the growth components, these stimulus packages that we're waiting for concrete deployment on, and all of these plans. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be waiting on the tax plan that's supposed to be phenomenal coming out this Thursday from President Trump. Excuse me. So we're going to be watching this very closely. As a matter of fact, taking a look at the volatility index, we're seeing right now that vol is now up about 2 cents, but still, the vol futures are at 11.45. Now, last night they went out at 11.40, and I noted this is a level we haven't seen, where I haven't seen pretty much. So this is the lows on the future. So we could be seeing some historic complacency that's coming into play right now at all-time highs. That means that approaches like stock replacement, potentially looking at covered calls, maybe some sort of hedging component might be pertinent. Now, to time a hedge is going to be very difficult in this environment, but the point is that it's cheap. When you see volatility this low, that means that premiums are cheap. That means the expectations are very low for anything very violent to happen. That, to me, being a classic contrarian, is where you need to be on guard. So, with that being said, join us at 1:30 Eastern Time in Strategy Now. I'm going to actually talk about today stock replacement and that concept, and then we'll take also a look at all of the market action that's going on in today's market, February 14th. So we will see you at 1:30 Eastern Time, Strategy Now, here on MarketStream.live. See you then.